The Aztec emperor drank 50 cups of chocolate before entering his harem. European doctors prescribed it as a cure for heartbreak. And in 1624, the Catholic Church tried to ban it from convents because nuns were becoming too excited. For centuries, chocolate was considered so dangerously powerful that governments regulated who could consume it. So how did this forbidden substance become the symbol of innocent love we gift on Valentine's Day? The answer involves accidental discoveries, corporate manipulation, and a chemical compound your brain releases when you fall in love. If you want more mind-blowing origins behind everyday traditions, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. The connection between chocolate and love begins in ancient Mesoamerica, specifically with the Aztecs and Mayans around 1500 BCE. They didn't eat chocolate bars. They consumed cacao as a bitter, frothy drink mixed with chili peppers, corn, and spices. The Aztec Emperor Montezuma II reportedly drank up to 50 cups of this chocolate beverage daily, particularly before visiting his wives. The Aztecs called it chocolate, which translates to bitter water, and they valued cacao beans so highly that they used them as currency. A single bean could buy a tamale. 100 beans could purchase a slave. When Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés arrived in Mexico in 1519, he encountered this chocolate drink at Montezuma's court. Cortés brought cacao beans back to Spain in 1528, and this is where the transformation began. The Spanish started adding sugar and vanilla to make the drink more palatable to European tastes. Within decades, chocolate drinking spread through European aristocracy as an expensive luxury reserved for the wealthy. But here's where the romantic association actually starts. European physicians in the 16th and 17th centuries began prescribing chocolate as medicine. Spanish doctor Juan de Cardenas wrote in 1591 that chocolate stimulated the venereal appetite. French doctors claimed it cured lovesickness. Italian physician Paolo Zacchia declared chocolate could restore vigor to exhausted lovers. These weren't fringe opinions. These were respected medical professionals publishing in widely read medical texts. The Catholic Church became so concerned about chocolate's effects that multiple bishops debated whether consuming it broke religious fasts. Some convents banned it entirely after reports that nuns were experiencing inappropriate excitement. In 1662, a Spanish bishop wrote that women who drank chocolate in church during long masses were causing scandal. The debate raged for over a century until Pope Pius V declared in 1569 that liquid chocolate didn't break fasting rules because it was technically a beverage, not food. The belief in chocolate's power had some basis in observation. Chocolate contains phenylethylamine, the same chemical the brain releases when you fall in love. It also contains tryptophan, which helps produce serotonin and creates feelings of happiness. And there's theobromine, a stimulant similar to caffeine that increases heart rate and energy. European doctors didn't know the chemistry, but they observed that people who drank chocolate often felt euphoric and energized. By the 1600s, chocolate houses opened across London, Paris, and Vienna, functioning like coffee houses but exclusively serving chocolate drinks. These became fashionable meeting places for courtship and flirtation. The drink remained expensive, so offering someone chocolate was a display of wealth and serious romantic intent. A single cup could cost the equivalent of $50 in today's money. The modern Valentine's chocolate tradition has a specific birth date, 1868. That's when British chocolatier Richard Cadbury created the first heart-shaped box of chocolates specifically for Valentine's Day. Cadbury had recently developed a new technique for pressing pure cocoa butter, which created eating chocolate that was smoother than anything previously available. He realized he needed elegant packaging to market this luxury product. Cadbury personally designed elaborate boxes decorated with cupids, roses, and satin. The boxes were so beautiful that people kept them after eating the chocolates, using them to store love letters and keepsakes. This created a dual-purpose product. The chocolate was consumed, but the box became a permanent romantic memento. Cadbury's Valentine boxes became wildly successful, and competitors immediately copied the concept. In America, Milton Hershey revolutionized chocolate production in 1894 by developing mass manufacturing techniques that made chocolate affordable for average Americans. Hershey's Kisses, introduced in 1907, became one of the first chocolates marketed specifically for gift-giving. The small, Individually wrapped pieces were perfect for Valentine's Day because you could buy just a few or a whole bag, depending on your budget. If you're enjoying these historical details, make sure you're subscribed because we dive deep into the origins of traditions you've never questioned. The chocolate Valentine connection exploded in Japan through an interesting cultural twist. In 1936, Japanese chocolate company Morozov ran the first Valentine's Day chocolate advertisement in Japan. But the tradition didn't catch on until 1958, when another company, Mary Chocolate, specifically targeted women, suggesting they give chocolate to men on Valentine's Day as a way to express affection in a culture where women traditionally couldn't openly declare romantic feelings. This created girichako, obligation chocolate that Japanese women give to male colleagues and friends, and hanmei choco, true feeling chocolate for romantic interests. Japanese women now spend an estimated $500 million on Valentine's chocolate annually. Japan then created White Day on March 14th, when men are expected to give return gifts worth 2 to 3 times the value of what they received. This entire economic ecosystem built around chocolate and Valentine's Day didn't exist before 1958. South Korea adopted both Valentine's Day and White Day from Japan, then added Black Day on April 14th, when single people eat black noodles to commiserate about being alone. The chocolate traditions have become so elaborate that Korean department stores dedicate entire floors to Valentine's chocolate displays in February. Back in the Western world, the psychology of why chocolate works as a romantic gift has been studied extensively. Research published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that chocolate activates the same brain regions as romantic love. A 2006 study in the journal Appetite discovered that chocolate produces more intense and longer-lasting brain activity than passionate kissing. The sensory experience of eating chocolate, the smooth melting texture, the sweet taste, the pleasant aroma, creates genuine pleasure responses. There's also symbolic meaning. Chocolate is indulgent, non-essential, and purely for pleasure, which mirrors how we think about romance. It's sweet, which connects to terms of endearment like sweetheart. It melts, which metaphorically relates to emotional softening. And giving chocolate requires someone to have thought about you in advance, purchased something specifically for you, and presented it as a gift, all of which signal care and attention. The numbers today are staggering. Americans spend approximately $2.4 billion on Valentine's Day candy annually, with chocolate accounting for roughly 75% of that total. The week before Valentine's Day represents the highest weekly volume of chocolate sales in the entire year. Over 36 million heart-shaped boxes of chocolate are sold for Valentine's Day in the United States alone. The global chocolate industry has engineered Valentine's products with remarkable precision. Companies create special limited edition flavors, premium packaging, and tiered price points from $5 boxes to $100 plus luxury assortments. The heart-shaped box that Cadbury invented in 1868 remains the dominant package design 156 years later, outselling all other Valentine's chocolate packaging combined. But here's what most people don't realize. The chocolate you give on Valentine's Day has virtually nothing in common with what Montezuma drank or what European aristocrats consumed. Ancient chocolate was bitter, spiced, and often mixed with corn. Modern Valentine's chocolate is sweet, creamy, and engineered in laboratories to achieve specific melting points and flavor profiles. We've kept the cultural symbolism while completely transformed the actual product. The tradition persists because it solves a practical problem. Valentine's Day creates social pressure to demonstrate affection through gifts, but choosing gifts is difficult. Chocolate provides a solution that's universally appreciated, available at every price point, consumable so it doesn't create clutter, and so deeply associated with the holiday that giving it can never be wrong. It's the safest romantic gesture possible, which ironically makes it the most popular. So when you give chocolate this Valentine's Day, you're participating in a tradition that connects Aztec emperors, Spanish conquistadors, European doctors prescribing aphrodisiacs, Catholic bishops debating morality, Victorian-era marketing innovation, Japanese cultural adaptation, and modern neuroscience about pleasure and reward. That small heart-shaped box contains 700 years of history, all based on the medieval medical belief that chocolate could make people fall in love. The fascinating part? The doctors were partially right. Chocolate does affect your brain chemistry in ways that mimic romantic attraction. The tradition built on a myth that turned out to have a kernel of scientific truth. If this video changed how you think about Valentine's Day chocolate, hit subscribe so you catch our next deep dive into everyday traditions. Drop a comment telling me what tradition you want explained next. And this Valentine's Day, when you hand someone that box of chocolates, you'll know you're not just giving candy. You're giving them a piece of history that emperors valued as currency and doctors prescribed as medicine. See you in the next one.